What's up guys, Coach Andrew Simmons here, and we've got another runner's strength workout for you guys. This is 3 to 4 sets of movements. By majority, you'll see inside the video or listed in the descriptions in your workout how long we want these to be or how many sets and reps these are going to be, but by majority 3 sets and 3 rounds is the typical workout that we do. These are all focused on posture as well as running form and helping you guys get stronger in the off season. What's up guys, this is the lateral bridge. This is kind of a basic intro core movement. What I want you guys to do is take this lower leg, bend it at 90 degrees, and focus on first, before you get this leg up, getting your hips in line with your shoulders. And then we're gonna hold this movement here. We're not gonna try and pulse. We're just gonna hold this. Ideally, hand is on your hip. And we're just gonna be working with this movement here to work on some core stability, 30 to 40 seconds at a time, switching legs. This is the Copenhagen Plank, and what we're gonna need is either a bench or something that you can put your leg on that's at least padded and a little bit comfortable. What we're gonna do is we're gonna adjust how difficult this movement is by how much of my foot is on this side of the bench. So this would be much more difficult the longer the lever is unsupported. To here would be much easier. The closer you get to your knee, the easier it's gonna be. And what I'm gonna have you guys do, you can either be on elbow or wrist, whichever is more comfortable. And again, we are gonna work on the inner thigh muscles here and just keeping this nice and steady. These are pretty challenging, 30 to 40 seconds. All right, this is the 3-position calf. We're gonna be working on all of the muscles in the calf, and you'll notice if you have certain areas that are weak, or if you land on the outside of your feet or even on the inside of your feet, we're gonna work on getting more stability in the ankle and helping you neutralize that. So what we're gonna start with is up on a plate, and we're gonna put our balls of our feet on the edge of the plate, and we're just gonna go up and down. For 10, we are gonna go heels out, toes together for 10, and then we're gonna go heels together, big toes, and we're pushing our heels together here for 10. As you get more comfortable, you're gonna wanna be able to go lower with the movement and come all the way down, all the way up, and we're gonna do those in sets of 3. All right, we're gonna do a walking lunge with weight. All I want you guys to do is find something that's relatively heavy, that's safe for you to hold overhead. This is just a 15-pound plate. I'm gonna hold this overhead, and I'm gonna work on trying to keep myself all together. And if you'd like to increase the challenge, you can also make this into a reverse lunge. All right, so this is a walking march, and what we're gonna focus on is a number of different ways of holding your body position in that ideal running form position. So we're thinking about opposite arm, opposite leg, and what we're gonna do by adding the weight, even if it's on the opposite side. Either side works. It's a little more challenging to have it on the same leg. As a weight, you can go with 2 weights, you can do it suitcase. There's a number of different ways that you can do this movement. The one I want you guys to focus on is having weight on your shoulder, single loaded. And all I want you guys to do is focus on stepping out, pushing through, stepping up, pushing through. And that is where it can get a little bit challenging. We're working on balance and trying not to get in this position and be leaned back to hold the weight. I want you guys to hold those hips in this top position right here and work on trying to keep a nice... All right, we're gonna do a kickstand single leg deadlift. I know this looks like a lot of weight, but this is actually pretty light. What I want you guys to find is a wall or something that you're okay to put your foot on. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna come out. If you're here, we're gonna take 1, 2, 3 short steps and just try to get to a place where I can be in about 90 degrees here, trying to open it up for you guys here. And all I want you guys to do, you do not have to touch the ground with this movement. That's really key. I want you to keep that back straight. So I kind of pull my chest and shoulder blades back, and I come down to about here. I feel that in my hamstring on the left side. And that's all we're trying to do is activate that hamstring. All right, so this is a lateral lunge with weight. You don't need a ton of weight for these. I'm just going with 12 pounds here to demo this out for you guys. But the first thing I want you guys to do is take a step out And this is where people get really stuck. They tend to just bow down to the weight. What I want you guys to do is sink that hip back, and then you can just switch sides if you'd like, or come together, step, come down, back up, okay? The other way you can do this movement is to stay fluid in the movement and work on getting that good mobility in the hips and just moving across, okay? Those can be your reps as well. All right, we're on the floor for this next movement. This is gonna be a glute bridge or glute raise on a foam roller. What I want you guys to do is on the balls of your feet, get the foam roller. You guys are gonna lay back. And what I want you guys to focus on is trying to come up. That foam roller is gonna create a point of instability. If these are easy for you and not a problem, try coming up into a single leg version of this movement. Much more challenging with the foam roller. It's much easier to do these if you don't have access to a weight to do hip thrusters. All right, so this next movement is a plank. I'll show you guys a couple different variations to increase the challenge of a 60 to 90 second plank. It's something that's pretty easy for you. First, when we're talking about a plank, I really want you guys to focus on not having that butt too high or too low and getting that arch in your back. So use a mirror if you can. And try to keep those shoulders over the elbow joint. And if you want, you can also have them up here on your hands. One way to increase the challenge, doing down and ups for the time, or coming back and reaching back to your heels to increase the challenge. All right, we're gonna do some core focus movements. If you have weaker lower abdominals, I'm gonna show you guys two movements that you guys can do. One of them is just a seated leg extension with hands behind here. The other option is to be able to grab a weight or a pole or a post behind you, and that is going to give you the ability to do some leg drops. You want to get about 1 or 2 inches from the ground and lift back up. You can also do those side to side to work your obliques. All right, the next movement is a Russian twist. I'm going to use a 15-pound plate. You may start with just using your hands side to side, but what we're going to do is we're going to come up into a kind of hollow position, and we're going to rotate the weight across our body, fully rotating to become parallel with the, perpendicular with the adjacent wall. All right, so you can call this any number of things. We call it a V-sit here, as well as being able to do some pulses with it. So similar to the Russian twist that we just showed you guys, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get those feet up and we're gonna come all the way out here to hold kind of in a nice V position. You can also do ins and outs with these, seesaws, whatever you wanna call them. It's a good full core movement. All right, so this movement is called the Palloff Press, and this one's actually really important. One of the things I work with a lot with runners is working on not crossing your body and inciting that rotation that comes with having wide elbows and things like that. If you see that in your running photos, one of the things I want you to do is integrate the Palloff Press. And what I want you guys to start with is getting some good tension in the band and squaring yourself up so that you are parallel with the bar or whatever. If you have a band, you can also do this on a cable machine at a gym. What you want you to do is bring this to the center of your chest. And we're gonna press out. So this is where the press and Palloff Press comes from. This is an anti-rotation movement, so this is trying to pull me this way. And I'm keeping a straight wrist, nice tight grip, and then to switch around, I'm just gonna do the same thing, opposite way. You'll feel this in your obliques, and this is something that you need to do to help build some strength to counteract that. All right, so this is more of a compound movement. I would consider this to be a relatively advanced movement in the gym. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to that basic march that we were doing, and we're gonna integrate a band. What I want you guys to do is grab the band kind of in a narrow shoulder width stance, and that as you step, you guys are gonna pull apart and bring back to your chest as you're doing this movement. Why is this important? We gotta learn how to coordinate and move both arms and lower limbs, as well as getting good balance in this position and building strength in the upper body. So this is one of my favorite stretches that you guys can do post-workout for someone that has really tight front of hips, hip flexors, things like that. I want you guys to find a bench or a couch, put a pillow on the floor, anything like that. This is a movement that you guys do need to hold for somewhat long time, 1.5 to 2 minutes on average. And what I'm gonna have you guys do is put this foot up onto the bench or couch, and I want you guys to come down into this position here. Now, if you need to, and you need to come out a little bit more, find where this front leg is comfortable. And what I want you guys to focus on doing is having good posture, you know, chest straight ahead, and we're working on trying to drive these hips forward. I can tell you I need to go home and do this because my leg's a little bit tight right now from earlier today for my run, but I'm keeping everything in a nice 90-90 position, trying to keep my chest up as best I can. You will find that over time, this will begin to loosen up and really help open up those hip flexors. All right, so if you're someone that has a really tight backside, posterior chain as we like to call it, one of the great stretches you can do, a lot of you guys are probably given stretches where you're seated on the ground. I want you guys to just cross your legs and try to fold yourself in half and just find the spot where you're tight. And this is actually gonna work my left leg because the leg behind is the one that's being stretched. And so for me, this is where I'm feeling a stretch right now. And all you guys wanna do is try to just work through a series of breaths where you're breathing in. And on the exhale, trying not to round your back, but holding that back up and working on trying to get a little bit more room. Give yourself 1 or 2 minutes to work these movements. Switch your legs after 1 or 2 minutes and just reach and try to get a nice deep stretch. And you'll feel that right at the base of your glutes and the top of your hamstring. All right, one of the most common things that I see in runners, especially when they start to pick up their mileage, they'll complain to me about shin splints, but it's not actually up here on the shin. I'm actually getting pain that's right up behind my tib here. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll the sock down, and what I want you guys to find is that you'll find that right along this bone right here, you're gonna wanna take that thumb and maybe even both thumbs, and you can sit down and really just kind of work and pull and knead this muscle here, the posterior tibialis, and just push that down and work that out. If you find a spot that's a little bit tender, just take your time with it. Try to work your way to loosening that area up. And you're gonna wanna work all the way down the ankle here, all the way up to basically the middle of your gastroc. Once you get up into here, you're not gonna really be getting much because it gets much deeper into here.